Marigani brothers, this is Sadiq Kambon, your director of the Black Community Information Center, which is an all-volunteer organization that tries to set the tone as it pertains to saying we as Black folks can do what we need to do for ourselves. So in that regard, let me give you a quick background about the history of the Information Center in that celebrating our 35th anniversary in terms of actual data incorporation, but the group actually began about 45 years ago. And some of the achievements, and let me just say it's based on community support, is like, for instance, Washington Park being renamed Malcolm X Park, leading the efforts for New Dudley Street to be renamed Malcolm X Boulevard. We're talking about Information Center bringing together the various entities that eventually became the Neighborhood Development Corporation of Grove Hall that built the Mecca Mall. Also, we're talking about a Imani House here, which is a building that we own as an organization for the community. And essentially, there are services provided for folks, housing, if you will, folks with mental health issues and who are formerly homeless elders or what have you. Also, we're proud of the fact that we were the first to bring back Minister Louis Farrakhan when he was rebuilding the Nation of Islam here to Boston. And for a little side bit for you, a lot of folks don't know that the New Edition, before they became the New Edition, in fact, actually participated in a joint Kwanza celebration in Hartford, Connecticut that involved Boston, Hartford, and New York. So that's when they actually officially started them and their Orchard Park dances. So little tidbit for you around history. Let me just say that we are now in the season of Kwanza, December 26th through January 1st, understanding the fact that we are to live the spirit of the 7 principles of Kwanza, 365 days of the year. So we would hope that you want to participate, share the information with your friends, families, or what have you. And it will be virtual in nature again this year. In terms of the schedule itself, you can go to blackinfonow.org with the entire schedules there, along with PayPal, if anybody would like to make a donation. But that's where we are right now. And it's just important to understand that the theme for this year in regards to the library in Newbury Square is that we want the name to be the Nubian Library. And what had happened was that those that be in the library system, including President David Leonard, had promised that the community would have some input as it pertains to the new name. And they came up with the name Roxbury Branch, which is not what the community wanted. So we're saying that was an act of deceit. And we, in fact, actually, there was a forum when folks were campaigning to be mayor, and I was at a forum with our now mayor, Michelle Wu, and raised the question, would she support the Nubian Library name? And she said she would absolutely support that name. So we are now in negotiations with her, not to say what would it take, but saying to the mayor that you need to carry out what you had committed to as it pertains to having the Nubian Library name. So that fits within the context of our theme for this year for Kwanza, about the community's desire to have the Nubian Library name. Like I said before, blackinfonow.org for the schedule. Tell your friends, family, spread the word. Come on out for this celebration, which will be virtual in nature. And hopefully we'll be back live next year. But hey, it's important that we make it happen. It's more than just about a celebration and having a good time and celebrating the culture. It's about what we have to do to build our community. So with that, I say, Asante Sana, and have a good day /night.
Kwanza Committee of the Black Community Information Center would like to acknowledge all of our 2021 advertisers. If you do not own a home, it's time to take the first step in 2022. Brandon German, your trusted realtor, helps professionals and families purchase their dream homes. Owning a home empowers you to take control of your financial future. Put the principles of Kwanzaa in action. Call Brandon now to get started at 617-942-1472. Again, 617-942-1472. Or visit BrandonGermanRealEstate.com. That's BrandonGermanRealEstate.com. Broker office located at Metro Realty Corp. In Brookline, Massachusetts. Origination presents Tafuta, a young child's search for the true meaning of Kwanzaa. The musical theater production is Thursday, December 30th. Again, Thursday, December 30th. Visit www.originationinc.org for more information. Again, visit www.originationinc.org for more information. Teen Empowerment. Teen Empowerment's youth-led initiatives engage thousands of youth and adults in community improvement efforts each year and lend youth voices and lived experiences to shape policies that empower young people and achieve equity, opportunity, and strong, healthy communities. For more information, visit www.teenempowerment.org. That's www.teenempowerment.org. Winter doesn't have to mean dry skin. Founded by 10-year-old youth entrepreneur Khalil KJ Thomas, KJ's double whipped shea butters are moisturizing, light, and come in delightful scents, including Bubblicious, Star Candy, Cocoa Mint, and T'Challa. Visit our website and shop today at melanatedyou.com/KJ's Butters. Again, melanatedyou.com/KJ's Butters. Coley Communications provide African diaspora drum workshops and performances that educate, entertain, and provide data-driven therapeutic benefits online and in person. Coley Communications educate and facilitate therapeutic drum circles for all ages, youth, adults, seniors, and hospitalized patients. With over 25 years of experience, Coley Communications work regionally, have won awards and grants for their work. Coley Communications is a registered vendor with the city and state. For more information, visit www.afrolatin.net. Again, www.afrolatin.net. Designs by Malika. Designs by Malika creates Afrocentric clothing, jewelry, scarves, and elegant shawls. Home decor items include unique framed fiber art for the walls. For more information, purchase your order at www.designsbymalika.com. Again, www.designsbymalika.com. African Man Born. African Man Born is a legendary MC from Boston. He's been making music that teaches and uplifts the people for over 20 years. For requests and bookings, contact him at www.africanmanborn.com. Again, www.africanmanborn.com. You can also find him on Instagram at African Man Born. Again, at African Man Born.
Assalamu alaikum, family. We are about to have our minister open us up in prayer. But before we do, I just want to remind everybody that if your mic happens to be unmuted, it needs to be muted for the duration of the program, as it does interfere with the program. So please make sure that your mic stay muted. And with that, we'll have Minister Randy open us up in prayer.
Assalamu alaikum. Let us pray. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, surely I'm being turned to thee, O Allah, trying to be upright to Him who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayers and my sacrifice, my life and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the world. No associate has he, and of this am I commanded. And I am of those who submit, O Allah, thou art the King. There is no God but thee, thou art my Lord, and I am thine servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I do confess my faults. So please, Allah, grant me protection against all of my faults, for none can grant me protection against all of my faults but thee. Guide me to the best of morals, for none can guide me to the best of morals but thee. And turn away from me the evil and the indecent morals, for none can turn away from me the evil and the indecent morals but thee. And O Allah, bless Muhammad and bless the true followers of Muhammad, as thou did bless Abraham and the true followers of Abraham. Surely thou art praised and magnified. And O Allah, make Muhammad successful and make the true followers of Muhammad successful, as thou did made Abraham successful and the true followers of Abraham successful. For surely thou art praised and magnified in our midst forever. Amen.
Okay, Sister Noel, take it away.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings. Before we start, I would like to ask, I will look in the chat. I would like to ask permission by the elders of our community, permission to speak, please. You can just let me know in the chat, yes, giving me permission. I see LaJoyce Woolery and Jamada. Thank you very much. Thank you. Habari Gani, everyone.
Abaragani.
Ujamaa, Cooperative Economics. Welcome on behalf of Muhammad's Mosque number 11, on behalf of the Black Information Center, and also on behalf of the Urban League. We are so happy to see you here today, and we are very excited to start our celebration with you. So with that being said, I would like to bring on Sister Jaquetta from the Urban League.
Happy Kwanzaa. My name is Jaquetta Van Zant. I am Vice President of Engagement and Mobilization for the Partnership, Inc. And in my community life, I serve on the Board of Directors of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts and as President of the Young Professionals Network. I also host a podcast called Politics and Prosecco. For tonight, I bring you greetings on behalf of Dr. Keith Motley, Interim Executive Director of ULEM, and Joseph Feaster, Chairman of the ULEM Board of Directors. We are excited and thrilled to sponsor tonight's event. For those of you who are not familiar with us, the mission of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts is to enable adults in Eastern Mass to overcome racial, social barriers, economic inequities, sexual and domestic violence to employment and economic development. For 100 years, ULEM's programs and services have given hope to participants and made a lasting, impactful statement in the community. I encourage you to get involved with the Urban League and really all of the social justice organizations that practice the Kwanza principle, Ujamaa. The work we are doing in our communities is a continuation of the efforts of our ancestors. We owe it to them and we owe it to ourselves to keep moving forward. YPN is an auxiliary of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts and a chapter of the National Urban League of Young Professionals. Our chapter is one of 50 nationwide and supports the Urban League. Our movement through volunteerism, philanthropy, and mission and membership development is just a part of the cornerstone of the work that we do. We also offer professional development, networking, and volunteer opportunities. Members of ULEM and YPN develop their leadership abilities, improve their marketability, and build their networks while giving back to the greater Boston community. As president of the YPN, I encourage you to join the Urban League and the Young Professionals Network. Continuing with our tradition, we now pay homage to our ancestors and pour libations.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sister Noel, and this is Sister Alasia.
Assalamu alaikum.
We would like to now pour libation for our ancestors.
for the motherland cradle of civilization,
Ashe,
for the ancestors and their indomitable spirit,
Ashe,
for the elders from whom we can learn much,
Ashe,
for our youth who represent the promise for tomorrow,
Ashe,
for our people, the original people,
Ashe,
for our struggle and the remembrance of those who have struggled on our behalf,
Ashe,
for Umoja, the principle of unity, which should guide us in all we do.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Good job. Thank you.
Let's give our young sister a round of applause, a virtual round of applause. You can put your hands up, clap in the chat. Before we move on to the next portion of our program, which will be the singing of our Black National Anthem, we are going to have a word of welcome from our minister, Student Minister Randy Muhammad.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness to the oneness of God, and I bear witness to the oneness of his prophetic community from Abraham to Muhammad. We thank Almighty God, Allah, for his merciful intervention in the affairs of the Black man and woman here in the wilderness of North America, in the personage of Master Fard Muhammad. We thank him for raising up from among us his messenger Messiah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we thank them both for leaving with us today an extension of themselves in the personage of our beloved minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In their names, I greet you in the universal greeting words of peace and paradise, as we say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum, which simply means peace be unto you. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to our celebration of Ujama'ah. I am Student Minister Randy Muhammad of Muhammad Mosque number 11, and it is an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure for us to be hosting this fourth night of Kwanza. And we know that this year, due to the global pandemic, that we are having a virtual celebration. But we want for you to sit back in the quiet of your home, or maybe not quiet because this is a celebration, but in the comfort of your home with friends and family, to sit back and enjoy the presentation that we have put together for you today. May Allah God bless you. And I'll be back in a few minutes to share some words on the history of Kwanzaa and also to talk about today's principle, Ujama'ah.
Thank you, Brother Minister Randy. Before we do the national anthem, we would like to ask during the libations, if you had or have an ancestor or a relative or a loved one or a friend that has moved on, if you could put their name in the chat, we will be honoring those of our ancestors that have moved on at the end of the program. So as the Black National Anthem is going, you can do that at this time.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise, others a listening sky. Let it resound loud as a rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past hath taught us. Sing a song full of the faith that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun, how a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you, sister, for that lovely rendition of the Black National Anthem. We are going to actually hear the history of Kwanzaa.
Assalamu alaikum. So at this time, I would like to say a few words on the history of Kwanzaa. Dr. Maulana Karenga, professor and chairman of Black Studies at California State University, Long Beach, created Kwanzaa in 1966 after the Watts riots in Los Angeles. Dr. Karenga searched for ways to bring African Americans together as a community. He founded US, a cultural organization, and started researching African first fruit harvest celebrations. Karenga combined aspects of several different harvest celebrations, such as those of the Ashanti and those of the Zulu, to form the basis of the week-long holiday, which we now know as Kwanzaa. The name Kwanzaa is derived from the phrase Matunda ya Kwanza, which means first fruits in the language of Swahili. Each family celebrates Kwanzaa in its own way, but celebrations often include songs and dances, African drum storytelling, poetry reading, and a large traditional meal. On each of the 7 nights, the family gathers and children light one of the candles on the kinara, or the candle holders. Then one of the 7 principles is discussed. The principles, called the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles in Swahili, are values of African culture which contribute to building and reinforcing community among African Americans. Kwanzaa also has 7 basic symbols which represent values and concepts reflective of African culture. An African feast called a Karamu, which is held on the last day on December the 31st. This is the history of Kwanzaa. We are honored to carry on the legacy of Kwanzaa and to celebrate this very important cultural celebration. What I love about Kwanzaa is that Kwanzaa is not limited to one faith tradition. It is not a Muslim holiday. It is not a Christian holiday. It is not a Jewish holiday or a Hebrew holiday, but it is a holiday that allows us to come together across denominational lines and to celebrate our common ancestry, our roots, and our history, and principles that are near and dear to us traditionally, historically, but are important for us to move our community forward in this modern time. So again, thank you for participating in our Kwanzaa celebration, and we will continue with the celebration, and I'll be back to talk about today's principle, which is Ujamaa.
Okay, so next we are going to have Sister Noel introduce the African drummers.
Next, we will have some of the students at Ashka Dance Studio who have been studying African dance and drum. They're new students, but the rhythm, which many of you may be familiar with from Kwanzaa, is funga, which is a rhythm of welcome from Liberia. So funga rhythm with J. Merle Stanley, who is leading them in the routine. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Once again, I'm honored to be back. I'm Student Minister Randy Muhammad of Muhammad Mosque number 11. And so today we are honored to sponsor this 4th day of Kwanzaa, which is Ujamaa, again, a principle that is very near and dear to us in the Nation of Islam. All the principles are near and dear to us as they are all represent core values of African people that we should know, honor, celebrate, commemorate, and pass on to the youth. The Nation of Islam and Muhammad Mosque number 11 in particular, we choose to sponsor this fourth day of Kwanzaa, Jama'ah, because cooperative economics is something that the Nation of Islam is known for. If you want to get a good example of what Ujama'ah looks like, just look at and study the history of the Nation of Islam and what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was able to do with his poor followers. He was able to, by pulling our resources, he was able to establish an economic powerhouse out of poor Black people. He was able to establish and purchase thousands of acres of farmland where we were growing our own produce, where we was rearing our own cattle, cows, milking cows, beef factories. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, using the economic blueprint, was able to invest in a fleet of boats that were out fishing the fresh Peruvian seas, bringing in thousands of pounds of fish. We were able to establish Black businesses, grocery stores, an educational system, independent schools, all by pulling our resources. And the motto of the Nation of Islam was that we must do for self. And so we want to encourage us today. We know that our former slave masters, they have no real intention of giving us a complete freedom. They have no real intention of giving us justice, of giving us full equality. And so we must recognize the power within our own hands, that if we were to come together and pull our resources with the trillions of dollars that comes through Black people's hands every year, we have to learn how to keep some of that money in our own community. We have to learn how to invest in our own community. We have to learn how to support Black businesses. Black people in America are not poor. If we were to compare with many of the established countries in the world, Black America would rank in the top 15 of wealthiest nations on the planet. We will come ahead of many European nations. We will come ahead of all African nations. We will come ahead of most countries throughout the world with the trillions of dollars that comes, now listen to this, that comes through our hands. And that is the problem, that the money comes through our hands. It doesn't stay in our hands. The dollar does not circulate in the Black community. And so we need to practice some Ujama'ah to keep some of that money in our community so that we are no longer only a nation or a community of consumers, but we have to become a nation of producers. And this is what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is teaching us today. So we have with us not just the history and the legacy of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam under his leadership and guidance. We have today the example and the history of the Nation of Islam under the guidance and the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who had to start in 1978 to rebuild the work of the Nation of Islam. And he started with nothing at all. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, by working the program of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was able to reestablish the Nation of Islam by teaching us the principles of the Muhammad's blueprint, by teaching us Muhammad's economic blueprint. We were able to pull our resources, and under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we were able to reestablish the Nation of Islam, repurchasing our national center, repurchasing Mosque Mariam, purchasing the Final Call building, repurchasing thousands of acres of farmland that now is under cultivation, where the Nation of Islam is providing food and staple goods to the nation and to those that would be willing and interested in supporting Black farmers and the program that the Nation of Islam has put forward. So we are not just talking about this, we are not just talking the talk, we are in fact walking the walk, and under the leadership of the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, with no help from the government, but with all antagonism of the government and other entities that would like to try to disrupt the work of the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. We have been under sanctions, but despite the opposition, despite being blackballed, if you will, we have been able to grow. We have been able not just to survive, but we have been able to thrive. And so, brothers and sisters, we must do for self, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. We must pull our resources. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan reintroduced Muhammad's economic blueprint. Now listen to this simple formula. He said that if we, who are now numbering over 40 million Black people here in America, he said that if we, those who are wage earners, would take just 5 cents a day, a nickel, if we would put 5 cents a day, which comes up to 35 cents a week, if we were just to put that away, that 35 cents a week among 16 million wage earners in 1 year, we would have $291,000 in the national treasury that we can use for economic development, that we can use to buy more farmland, to provide food for our people, that we can use to sponsor independent education, to fund organizations that are fighting for the liberation of Black people. Brothers and sisters, it's really that simple. 5 cents a day, that is nothing. We all surely can afford 5 cents a day. The power is in us pulling our resources. So cooperative economics, meaning the collective, my little 5 cents a day, my little 35 cents a week, it's not gonna do anything. Matter of fact, 35 cents a week won't even do anything for me as an individual. What can I get with 35 cents? But if we were to put that aside and we pooled our resources as a collective, cooperatively, we have power. That's $291 million. So brothers and sisters, let us not just talk about it, let us be about it. Let us pull our resources and let us commit in this year that we're gonna unite and we're gonna pull our resources and we're gonna put our money together and invest so that we can make our communities a safe and decent place to live. So thank you for listening. Let us celebrate this beautiful evening. And I'll say this, that we can do this as a collective. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad also said If as little as 10 of you came together within your family, pool your resources, invest, and start to create businesses in your community and create economic opportunity, we have the power to change our own reality when we recognize that in unity we could accomplish much. So thank you for listening. I close with the greeting words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Harambe, Harambe,
Rambe,
Harambe.
Rambe.
Beautiful words. So next we will go into the lighting of the candles and also the Kwanzaa items.
The 7 basic symbols of Kwanzaa are the mazao, the fruit and vegetables, makeka, placemat, kinara, the candle holder for 7 candles, 1 black, 3 red, 3 green, vibunzi, ears of corn, reflective of the number of children in the home, zawadi, gifts, the Kiko Cha Umoja, the communal unity cup, and the Mashuma Saba, the 7 candles.
Umoja, unity, to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race.
Kuji Chakalia, self-determination,
to define ourselves, name ourselves,
create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves.
Ujima, collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community together and make our brother and sister's problem our problem.
Ujama, cooperativity,
economics,
to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses,
and to profit from them together.
Nia, purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and development of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness.
Kumba, creativity, to do as much as we can to leave our community more beautiful than we receive it.
Imani, faith, to believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teacher, our leaders, the righteousness and the victory of our struggle.
The 7 principles, umoja, unity, to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. Kuji Chakalia, self-determination, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Ujima, collective work and responsibility, to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. Ujama, collective economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses and to profit from them. Nia, purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Kuumba, creativity, to do always as much as we can in the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. Imani, faith, to believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our purpose.
Next, we will have Brother Christopher Muhammad speaking about the Staple Goods Program.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Brother Christopher Muhammad. I work with the Ministry of Agriculture. I wanted to call out the different ministries that have been established in the Nation of Islam to help us pool our resources mentally, spiritually, to develop in different areas that we will need to develop in as a nation. So the ministries in order are the Ministry of Spiritual Development, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Information, Ministry of Health and Human Services, Ministry of Trade and Commerce, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Arts and Culture, Ministry of Science and Technology. And so those are the 9 ministry of the Nation of Islam. And we'll be focusing today on the ministry that I work within, which is the Ministry of Agriculture. It's a great pleasure and honor to be chosen to participate in the Ministry of Agriculture. I want to give you all the main reason why I'm in this particular ministry. Food and I go back a long ways. That's number one. I've always been curious about food, where it comes from, how it's transported, how we get food in our communities. But the overriding thought for me has always been why food costs more in our community and why that food is of lower quality than food that is gotten from other communities. And that has led me over time to realize that we cannot continue to be dependent on those who bring lower quality food in our community. We cannot continue to be dependent on them. There has to be a time where we become independent of those who just choose to send inferior products to our neighborhood. We need to take control over our food supply. We need to take control over logistics. We need to take control over the connection with our farmers to the south to bring what they're producing up north so they can get a better price for it than they would get at the markets in the south. And so my journey with the Ministry of Agriculture has been wanting to build infrastructure. I want to build an infrastructure system because we're building a nation. This isn't a church. This isn't a particular group of people. This is our community at large. We need to be thinking nation and unity. We do not need to be focusing on business as usual, subsisting on lower quality products, when we have the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and wherewithal to do considerably better in terms of the quality of food that we get, where we get it from. It should be clear to us that America as a nation is unraveling. And because America is unraveling, that puts the illness on us to stand up and represent what we need for our community and to take an active role going to the farms, making friends with farmers, learning how to grow food in our yards, learning how to grow food in community gardens. We have to take an active role in our survival at this time. And so those are some of the reasons why I'm in the Ministry of Agriculture. But if you get nothing else from what I'm saying, we need to focus on nation. As this nation, America, as we know it, collapses, anyone who's looking at the pandemic sees that it's not a 2 or 3 day pandemic. It's not a monthly pandemic. It's not a short-term pandemic. There is just as much uncertainty now, 2 years into the pandemic, as there was when the pandemic first hit. This means that we must unite as a people to do something for ourselves. As this nation devolves, you already see it in the way people are driving on the street. You already see it in terms of the increased amount of violence. You already see it in the disrespect that we continue to endure as Black people. And so we must come together in unity. And one of the areas that we're able to do it is through the Ministry of Agriculture. The Nation of Islam has 9 ministries. This is only one. But we need to focus not necessarily on Nation of Islam, not necessarily on a church, but we need to focus on building a nation. Thank you.
I hope you all are enjoying this program and finding it very informative. Next, we will have song and dance. The song is the sister who opened us with the national anthem, Sister Wesleyan, and then we will have the children again.
Nkosisikeleli Afrika malupakan weswetondulwayo izwa imitanda zoyetu kosi sikelela tina lupasolwayo morena bulu kasisaba baswe nyeyo oh se boloke oh se boloke oh se boloke oh se boloke si shabasu esu si shabasu Africa Magubenjalo, gute gute guna pagate, gute gute guna pagate. Magubenjalo, Magubenjalo, gute gute guna pagate, gute gute guna pagate.
Let's give them a virtual round of applause. Ashe. So next we have a video of the FOI as well as the MGT, and we hope you enjoy it.
There is a need in our community for a universal change. And it has to start with the man. Being a man of God means being a man possessed of the knowledge, the spirit, and the power of God, anointed to do His will. To build a people, you first must make every man, no matter what his color, no matter what his race, every man, in order to be a man, must be a man of God, or he's not a man at all. Let us make man.
Are you all enjoying yourselves?
They are loving it.
Beautiful. So Brother Christoflex, what are we doing next?
I want to give our people a farewell, and we'll be concluding the program very shortly. Got a couple of more presentations here. So let's go into this, and thank you for coming. Sister Noel, you want to say anything in parting words?
We'd like to thank our co-sponsor, Sister Jaquita. We'd like to thank the Black Information Center, and we would like to thank everybody who attended this evening. Thank you so much. And in the spirit of Ujamaa, let us keep pushing forward. And I hope we see everybody tomorrow night. We're not done yet.
That's right. Let's not forget the effort to rename the library in Nubian Square, the Nubian Library. Make sure you reach out to Siddiqui Cambone.
Yes.
Siddiqui is on, I believe. If you could put your information in the chat, get in touch with Siddiqui Cambone or the Black Community Information Center to find out more information about the effort to rename the library Nubian Library. And with that, we close out. Strive for discipline, dedication, and achievement in all you do. Dare to struggle and sacrifice and gain the strength that comes from this. Build where you are and dare to leave a legacy that will last as long as the sun shines and the water flows. Practice daily Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujamaa, Nia, Kuumba, and Imani, and may the wisdom of the ancestors walk with us. May the year's end meet us laughing and stronger. May our children honor us by following our example in love and struggle. And at the end of the year, may we sit together in large numbers with greater achievement and closer to liberation and higher level of enlightenment. Harambe! 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 Harambe!
It's Kwanza, Kwanza. It's a holiday, come on, celebrate and rejoice. It's Kwanzaa, spreading unity in our families and communities. It's Kwanzaa, because the legacy makes us so strong. Yeah, yeah. So let us come together to celebrate this season of Kwanzaa. It is Kwanzaa, it's time to celebrate and lose on Saba. On this day, we got Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujamaa, Nia, Kuumba, Imani. That is what we need. We gather around today to reflect upon our past. We've come so far, remembering all of those who came before us on Kwanzaa. From Rosa to Malcolm to Dr. King and Turner, yeah. From Du Bois to Ashanti Wall, we honor you on Kwanzaa. It is Kwanzaa, yeah. It's time to celebrate. On this day, we got Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujamaa, Nia, Kuumba, economic opportunity. Yeah, purpose is what we need, and creativity. Faith is what we really need. Moja, yeah. Uji chocolate, yeah. Ujama, Mia, Uma, yeah. Faith is what we really need.
We want to thank Lovely Hoffman for that very beautiful song. Make sure you check out her YouTube channel where you can not only support that song, but support all of her music. And she does have new music coming out in the very near future. So make sure you do that. I am going to end the program by honoring all of the ancestors that you all had put in the chat. Thank you for coming, and assalamu alaikum.